Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far on a crazy day one here at Major One. Has now concluded some phenomenal matches, great storylines developing, just lovely to have Call of Duty back in business in a LAN environment. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. Los Angeles Guerrillas, they were in action today up against the London Royal Ravens. 4 fantastic series to dive into. Looking at this day on paper, it was going to be one of the craziest days of Call of Duty we've had for a very long period of time. Indeed, that's pretty much how it panned out. Some drama as well along the way. Like, these series did not go as swimmingly as some of these teams would have liked them to. Los Angeles Guerrillas were in action. That's the first series we're going to dive into here in a second. As Claser says, though, before things even kick off, that apparently the green room or whatever, like where the casters and the analysts are behind the scenes, that was right next to where the practice room is for the New York guys. These guys were trying to warm up, but well, apparently they couldn't really focus. I can't lock in when all I hear is people screaming in the middle of my scrim. So yeah, maybe New York haven't got the best practice room. They are far from the easiest match tomorrow. We'll dive into here in a couple of minutes. Of course, they did not play today. This also for Methods, right? Just, you know, of course, this is Crim6's Porsche sitting there in the parking lot. He's turning up, right? The New York guys getting ready to go. And what, some words exchanged right between the pair of these guys. Not playing today, Crim6 and co. But Boston and Methods were certainly in action. Game 1, though, was this one. London versus Los Angeles Guerrillas. A crazy series. I predicted this one to go 3-2 to London, I believe. That is indeed how it went down. But it was far from easy for both of these teams to get this point. I thought that London might well split the hard points here. They actually win both of them. This game 1 was honestly crazy. I thought London were going to win this, then I thought they were going to lose it, then like all of a sudden they're winning it again. Like London are just this crazy hardpoint team where it feels like Los Angeles Guerrillas are quite structured the way they play hardpoints, but London don't care about rotating. They don't mind. Like, you have the hardpoint, we're just going to straight gun you out of it, right? With nades and gun skill, just get you out of the hill and break straight through. That's pretty much what they do every single hardpoint. It's kind of incredible to look at, really. That's just kind of their tactic, and to be fair, it works in this game better than it has done in the past. They win the game 1, they take it to Berlin, Search and Destroy, and credit to LAG really here, because I thought this is a pretty good map for London. I thought they'd, well, it got up 2-0 here, and I couldn't really see them getting reverse swept in a situation like that, but Asim made some great plays. He honestly was kind of the shining star for Los Angeles Guerrillas game 1, continued it into the game 2. They win this one, game 2, round 11, take it to control. They win a ridiculous control, to be honest. This should have been London's game. They won a fantastic offense right at the start. The first round was like one of the cleanest offenses you're going to see on Gather 2 control. Got all the kills, counts B and A at the same time, and it really felt like it was GG already, right? Because if you win a control that comfortably an offensive round, like, you should be able to close it out. In fairness to Los Angeles Guerrillas, this is what Huke did to actually finally close out their offensive rounds. Like, I mean, look at this point. It's like 5 kills to 10 lives, but all that London need to do is really get some kills. Honestly, they should never have thrown this setup away. They pretty much gifted it to Los Angeles Guerrillas. They had, like, I think it was 10 lives that London had, 12 lines that LAG had. All they had to do was not get gunned off the head glitches and not let Los Angeles Guerrillas into the point, and they would have closed this one out 3-1, got up 2-1 in the series, probably got onto it. But look at this play that Huke makes, ring around the rosy. Like, I can't believe he actually managed to stay alive here, to be honest, but they win this offensive round. They take it to a defense, they win that as well. But I must say I've been very impressed with London's composure as of late. Like, these guys are going down 2-0 to OpTic and reverse sweeping them. That's not something that's easy to do. Losing a map in the way they did, you'd have thought that might tilt them a little bit. They come into Berlin, a map they lost in the game 4 to Los Angeles Guerrillas when they played them in the regular stage, and 100-point clubs them straight off the bat. This was not even close. Take it to a game 5, Desert Siege, Search and Destroy, where London are very good indeed so far this season. Pretty sure LAG hadn't even played it as of yet, and they win that comfortably as well. So yeah, London, despite being down 2-1, very close maps to lose, they turn it around and win the series 3-2. Incredibly impressive. Like, again, London kind of showing up on LAN here. Thought LAG played pretty well, but yeah, Gizmo had a great series across a lot of the maps. Nasty really turned up as well the game 1, and Zero in that game 5 was certainly the star of the show. Let's dive into the next series then, to Atlanta FaZe versus Boston Breach. This pretty much went as a lot of people expected to. I thought, okay, maybe Boston can find a way to close out one of these maps right here. And in fairness, it's not like FaZe looked incredibly dominant in this series. Like, there were certainly some moments in game 1, game 2, pretty much all the maps where they could have lost the game, or at least Boston were actually close to them to some degree. So I don't think FaZe looked like indomitable or anything. They certainly didn't look unbeatable, but still, they just looked like the better team to Boston by quite some margin. And Simp this series was just the best player in the world once again. Like, we've kind of been waiting for Mr. MVP to turn a corner like this. Game 1, he ties the record on Barcar sharp points, has like a 1.4 KT, goes into game 2 as well. Like, this was a crucial moment here from Simp. He clutches a massive 1v2, down 4-3 at this point, and he's in a 1v2. You really feel like, okay, if he loses this, it's 5-3 to Boston, especially with how offensive favored Tuscan tends to be. Probably they close out this map too, tie up the series. Who knows what happens from there? But Simp, of course, manages to find a way to clutch a 1v2 out of the back pocket, ties this up 4-4, and at that point you think, okay, like, they're probably going to go on to win this map and the series, which is exactly what they do. So Very nice play from Simp. Real patient here, right, from Simp. Like, he kind of realized that even though he has to defuse the bomb, he felt like Methods would make exactly this play. He gets the kill on him, shoots the bodies as well. Just, I mean, yeah, classic stuff for Mr. MVP, to be honest. And they win the final map as well. But Simp on the final map was just absurd. As you can see, 2.1 KD on Tuscan, 42 kills. This guy was 42 in 20 on Tuscan control. Pretty sure they won it in a round 5 or something absurd. Like, this is kind of the Simp of old, what we saw last year. This guy's KD in control last year was ridiculous. He had like legitimately a 1.25 or a 1.3 in control last year. On defense, he had like a 1.5 or 1.4 last year. I don't know. His stats are out of control. And well, this year kind of showing it finally once again in that game mode where Simp just seems like the best player in the game. 2.1 KD, 42 in 20. Like, what is that about? He dropped 96 kills over just 3 maps with a 1.75 KD. Like, I mean, some of the stats that came after this were ridiculous. 10k damage in just 3 maps also is absurd. And well, as Breaking Point point out, Simp finished with more untraded kills to where he got a kill and didn't die within the next 5 seconds than any Boston player had total kills. Nero had 68 as the highest. That is just absurd. FaZe kind of back in business, it seems. But yeah, I still didn't think they were completely dominant this series, right? Yes, it was a 3-0, but it was a close 3-0, right? Boston certainly put up a fight, so don't think they're going to be easy to bowl over. Of course, they're Atlanta FaZe, but I wouldn't say they've locked up this tournament already by any means. Let's dive into the crazy, like, 3-hour-long series between Thieves and the Toronto Ultra. Like, game 1, they decided to go to Gather 2 hardpoints. That's where Thieves win it. These guys, honestly, Gather 2 hardpoint, like, it is pretty much domination for the nation. And in fairness, Envoy was crazy map one. He went like 31 in 20. He honestly had a fantastic series. But yes, it was not enough in the end for LA Thieves. This game 2 as well, so close but so far. CleanX almost clutches a 1v4. That's kind of what I was saying this morning, right? That I've not been convinced as of yet with Los Angeles Thieves Search and Destroy. They almost get 1v4'd, but Drazah's there for the trade just about. And I mean, yeah, that was honestly ridiculous. CleanX almost pulled this off. But then a few rounds later, Insight clutches a 1v3, and that's pretty much enough to get Ultra to win this game. And honestly, what Insight was doing the round 5, the game 5, sorry, was also ridiculous. So, yeah, certainly in the Search and Destroys, doesn't feel like Los Angeles Thieves are all there as of late. Definitely their hardpoint is there. But this control as well, they should have won this control. Thieves should have put this game away. They won on offense. They had a defense that they should have won. And if they win that glows out 3-1, they probably win the series 3-1 as I predicted this morning. Doesn't go that way though. They lose a crucial defense to Ultra. Then Ultra win it in the round 5. They take it into the game 4. There was a lot of drama around this game 4 actually because the game crashed mid-game. Thieves were up like 70-30. Pretty big advantage on Berlin hardpoints. And the game just crashes. They have to get out of there. Huge technical pause. Really unfortunate stuff. But I mean, yeah, the crowd was certainly having a good time right with the OpTic Texas logo flying around the screen. But still, they finally get the game back in business. And in fairness to Thieves, it's very difficult, honestly, put in that position where you just have to full replay from scratch. But they knew they're the best hardpoint team here. They win this one, despite Ultra being so good so far this season on Berlin hardpoint. Los Angeles Thieves will win it comfortably. But look, a game 5 Search and Destroy, you've always got to favour Toronto Ultra, especially with this clip. I mean, this is why we love snipers in the game. Octane was dominating the first 3 rounds, gets one. I mean, this is from inside, of course. The crazy quick scope onto the second, absolutely disgusting. And just the way that Ultra closed out this game 5 as well, with Benjamin Bance hopping on the ninja defuse. I mean, honestly, Envoy runs away, Bance hops on the ninja, and the crowd honestly was doing a pretty good job of not giving it away, to be honest, even though they weren't all that loud in this series, you could certainly argue. But you know, maybe in London, this has been a bit crazier. But still, 6-3 in the game 5 for Ultra, like a 2-3-5 for the Ultra guys, kind of what we thought might happen if it goes to game 5. This team is just so hard to beat and to put away. As Nadeshot says, sometimes it feels like you just can't catch a break. Really tough for the guys, but there's still plenty of Call of Duty to be played in this tournament, and that then leaves tomorrow's matches, the Battle of Europe, Toronto versus London. Gizmo and Cammy will certainly have a few words to say for each other there, and also that means that New York, their first game will be against Los Angeles Thieves, as Thieves look to kickstart their losers bracket run. One of these two teams will go out top 12, which is, well, tough to see. And here we go then, the final series of the day, ever a dramatic one, right? I mean, it was already getting late here in Europe. Thankfully, OpTic closed it out in the end as quick as it could possibly have been, but certainly still some drama going on. Not sure what is wrong with Vanguard, to be honest. We'll dive into this game one here in a second. Illy was out of his mind. I mean, look at this, right? I've never seen a man so close to my monitor in my entire life. There's some CS players that play incredibly close to their monitor. I've never really seen a COD player do it, to be honest, to this extreme. Like, on most of the players' cameras, you could see their faces. Illy, you could just see his forehead right to where the headset was, like, on his top of his hair or whatever. Just fantastic stuff. But yes, the game one, like, honestly, the crowd was back in action. Like, Scump starts off the game one with a 4-piece. You're thinking, okay, wow, OpTic get back in business. This is how it's going to go. And honestly, I was incredibly impressed with OpTic this series. But they did not get it closed out on this game one because they had to close it out on a replay of game one because, again, we have a game crash comes into effect. Like, literally in the middle of a listening, the OpTic guys, the game crashes. They're at 130 to 109. They have the momentum. Just what happened in the LA Thieves Toronto series. Like, the momentum is in their favor. It feels like they're gonna, well, put out a lead here, go on to win this map. The game crashes, and honestly, immediately afterwards, I was impressed by the composure, really, because Scump was like, yo, no shot, dude, what's going on here? Illy was saying, like, there's no way this happens again, and then Dashy was like, okay, calm down, like, let's stick to the program. Okay, we gotta go again, let's refocus and go back to business. But yeah, not the greatest sign, really, for the CDL here, the fact that all these games seem to be crashing right now, because, I mean, yeah, really frustrating for these teams that have the advantage. Like, there should be no reason, right, where these guys have to play from a complete reset. Ideally, the team that's in the lead gets another lead going back through, but of course, Call of Duty is not an advanced enough esports to allow that to be possible. So yeah, very frustrating. Hopefully they can fix this one. People were saying, wow, the CDL must be rigged, right? Why are these games going like this? Well, the restarts coming through. But yes, eventually the map one does come through, and yes, they actually win the entire game as well. Really impressed, honestly, with how this worked out for the OpTic guys. I mean, once again, like, it was a very similar map 2 than the map 1, to be honest. Close early on. Honestly, Seattle had an early advantage of like 50 points or so. OpTic bounced back, and yeah, he made a crazy play, honestly, to break into this final hardpoint. Flew off the top rope, got a couple of kills, and honestly, Bakash is just so mixy at the end, but eventually OpTic closed it out, and again, generally looked like the better team this series. The game 2, to me, was the most impressive one, just because, I mean, yes, Seattle Surge had their moments. Again, accuracy clutch of 1v2. This guy is unstoppable. You put him in a 1v2, it just feels like he's always going to make the right plays. Incredible how well he plays these situations, to be honest. But yeah, Illy loses the 1v1 to accuracy, and that's, well, that was a crucial round for Seattle, it felt like, but in the end, OpTic honestly were clinical. This is exactly what they did against Paris on this very map when they played them in their first series victory of the season, when, you know, towards the latter half of the game, they just showed their search and destroy was on another level. Rambo talked about it earlier today, the fact that their search is super good, and then we went to a control where it was very much back and forth. I felt like OpTic were going to win 1 or 2 of their offenses, but it was this man who came to play. Like, Dashy was just a monster. He started out this game something like 20-5, and they were still down 1-2 in terms of round count, but a very dominant defensive round set it up to a round 5. OpTic had defense. They kind of made some questionable plays at times, to be honest. Shotzzy, like, he was absolutely cracked on that Bakash game 1, won like 41-31, but yeah, towards the end of this final map, he was maybe going a little bit more aggressive than he maybe required to, but yeah, Dashy turned up in business. He went like 40-20 or something. We'll have a look at the final stats here in a second, but Dashy had a casual 2KD in the final map. Pretty sure at one point he was like 38-15. Like, this guy was out of control. That's honestly what he was doing last year, especially on raid control. He would just take over the game in terms of the slaying, and that's of course incredibly important right now, the slaying, when it comes to getting defense in these round 5s. Indeed, he did go 40-20, so that is job done for the OpTic guys. I said earlier today, if they came out here and 3-0 Seattle, I would be very impressed indeed. The only 2 teams to get 3 zeros on the day, OpTic and FaZe, they shall play each other tomorrow. Accuracy admits they got straight up outplayed in that series, no doubt about that one, right? Comfortably the second best team in this one, and yeah, these are the final series stats just to finish out the video, but very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on a like button, tell us the YouTube gods, this is a good video, others like you should see it as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always, take care, and I will see you next time.